Hey guys, welcome back into the final segment of the Court Report. Sarah and Orlando getting you guys prepped, taking your questions, just shooting the breeze with you guys about the Trailblazers taking on the Dallas Mavericks tonight. Going to be an important game. Trailblazers working on their defense and going to be taking on a high-powered offense in the Dallas Mavericks. It's going to be interesting. Before we get to our keys to victory, which share yours in the chat and pop in some questions there too, because we'll go through some rapid fire if we have some time. Want to remind you guys that next week on a day that there is no game, there is a good concert happening here in the Moda Center. That is, of course, Bastille next Thursday, November 13th. You can enjoy multiple hits, including Bad Blood and their Triple Platinum Pompeii. To purchase your tickets for their show at the Theater of the Clouds at the Moda Center, a nice intimate venue, go ahead and visit rosequarter.com right now. That show is going to be absolutely fantastic. I know that I will be there, so if you guys want to be there, like I said, go on over to rosequarter.com to get your hands on tickets right now. It's going to be a good show. All right, let's go ahead and talk about some of our keys to victory. We've talked a lot about kind of those strengths of the Trailblazers, the weaknesses of the Mavs, where we can kind of find a spot to get the edge, because that's, I feel like, what it's going to be in this game tonight is an edge.
Excellent.
You know, and when you look at some of the things that I mean, we've been talking about the Spurs-Mavs game, like you said. I mean, it was an edge, a slight edge, a one-point edge to be exact. I believe it was a Manu Ginobili edge.
Yes, it was.
It's a good edge that allowed the Spurs to get that win. But what are some of the most important things that you think the Trailblazers have to do? 3 keys that Portland has to have tonight to be able to get a victory.
Well, the first is that you definitely need to take advantage of the rebounding opportunities. I know we've talked about that. You've mentioned that. You got to take advantage of that. The second, I think this is a big one because this is going to be something that the Mavs are going to be very conscious of, and that's winning the third quarter, because the Mavs have been so abysmal during the third quarter performances, and they've given up leads. They gave up a 30-point lead to the Boston Celtics in the third quarter, so they're going to be conscious of it. I think we need to make sure that they don't fix that problem against us. And then the last one is defend. Keep the defensive focused.
Absolutely, completely agree. And you know, Aaron here in the chat, his key to victory is coming out with third quarter defensive intensity. What do you know?
Love it,
yeah,
love it.
Look at that.
Nice.
Oh, but he also adds, let's do that in the first quarter.
I like it.
That's an interesting key. That is a very interesting key. Keep their offense from getting into a rhythm early. That would be a great key if I think it was possible. I don't know that it's possible to take a team that's the best scoring team in the league when it comes to the Mavericks and all of their offensive weapons, Aaron. I mean, just how do you throw a wrench in a machine that just goes so well?
And the first half is their strongest, really, in the first half.
So I hope to see that as well, because that would be great, especially for Portland. I mean, when you look historically at our games, first quarter is always the roughest, including Tuesday night against the Cavaliers. What would that game have looked like if we had held them to less than 20 points like we did every other quarter? I really like what you're saying there. And I think that the Trailblazers are definitely still focusing on starts, and I think that that's kind of the overarching idea there, is making sure that we have a better start. I do think that they still are focusing on starts. So good point there, good point. SLP says, my keys to victory: slow down Monte Ellis, have floor spacing to get assists, and rebound on both ends. I really like that. Also, again, very good points. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pop in mine. I don't want the Trailblazers to just win the glass. I want them to dominate. They need to dominate the boards. And we saw this against Cleveland. You know, you're up for a big game. You have that kind of extra hustle energy. So many really good offensive rebounds. I mean, what was our total? We had 9 offensive rebounds there. I mean, granted, I guess the Cavaliers here didn't even notice they had 13. Didn't matter much. But, you know, 9 offensive rebounds there, really good for the Trailblazers and getting some of those hustles, the hustle, keeping things going. And that's what you're going to be able to do against a team that doesn't rebound, you know, just kind of middle of the road rebounding when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks. And so it's going to be really important. And I think that you're going to see Nick in there getting dirty. You're going to see Wesley in there as well, and you're going to see Robin and Chris. And so many, can I also mention, maybe you can talk about this, is this the maturity of the team when it comes to tip-out rebounds? I know that it's always a thing, but I feel like there have been so many more this season. Is that a confidence in knowing where guys are going to be on the floor kind of thing, or is it the opposite of what I'm thinking, that you can't pull it on the board, so you're just trying to get it out and give a chance for something that's not,
Well,
then, instantly giving up.
It's such an excellent observation. I think it's a little bit of both. I think you really want to get an opportunity, and excuse me, some teams measure that, measure tip outs and measure hands on the ball and that sort of thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's a measurement of effort by the Portland Trail Blazers coaching staff. So the tip outs, definitely part of the structure, part of effort, and part of, like you said, knowing that guys are on the perimeter, hoping for those tip outs, because I know as a shooter, you really hope guys tip it out.
Yeah, and the Trailblazers have made some other teams pay a couple times this season. Just notice that as well. And here's another key. One of the things that we haven't really talked about too much. I think that the second unit guards need to defend really well, because when we look at this Dallas Mavericks team, who do you have coming in on Steve Blake? Devin Harris, a starting point guard in this league, really, in a lot of ways. So I think it's going to be really, really important for the Trailblazers' second unit to maintain a defensive focus as well, but also continue to score. I mean, when we saw the Cavaliers game, I mean, it was really the second unit that kind of started that push. A mix of a couple starters and then more guys off of that second unit. So that's something that I think is really important to me. What are your thoughts on Devin Harris and the Steve Blake matchup, or whatever rotation of guards that ends up being?
Sure. Well, Devin Harris, like you said, is a starting point guard caliber player. He has demonstrated his ability to perform at a very high level. Steve Blake, such a heady player. I just don't see him giving ground to anyone. The one player that I think coming off the Mavs bench that concerns me, because he kind of hits key baskets and he has demonstrated that against the Blazers in the past, is Richard Jefferson.
Yes, that's
Richard
true.
Jefferson, the ageless one, seems to continually be able to bring offensive production to second units. So, he gives me a little bit of reason for pause.
Absolutely. I like what you're saying there. Another good point here in the chat from SLP. He says, Dallas through 4 games are shooting 52.4% from twos. If Portland can keep Dallas shooting under 45%, they have a chance to win. Definitely agree. It's gonna be tough though. I mean, going from shooting 52% to down to shooting 45%. Sure, it doesn't seem like a huge swing, but when you have as many offensive weapons as the Mavericks have, it is going to be tough. It's weird that we're talking about offensive weapons when it comes to the Mavericks, by the way.
It is.
Super weird. Oh, and can we talk for a second? I'm surprised none of you guys have mentioned this. Dirk Nowitzki's shooting percentage and how well he's playing, and the fact that just a minor adjustment in the release of his shot. I think he's shooting 58% on the year. Like, how crazy is that? What do you think about the LaMarcus Aldridge-Dirk Nowitzki matchup?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see back-to-back one-leg fadeaway jump shots, one from LaMarcus, one from Dirk. They both have that aspect of their game. Really, to me, it's the start. And here's why, because LaMarcus, his ability to knock down his early shots really impacts the future performance for him. So I want to see him get going early. They're going to go to Dirk early, clearly, 58%. He's averaging 20 points a game, so he's the key offensive production for the Mavs. Those two are just really going to bring it. I really see them really getting their point production in the stat sheets at a nice click tonight.
Yeah, I like this point from LaMonster too. Watch out for their right, talking about Brandon Wright. That's another good point. I mean, and here we are, as we've been talking so much about the starting unit of both of these teams. A second unit, I mean, that's going to be a big difference maker when it comes to this game tonight, is both of those units coming out. And hopefully, I mean, if it stays level, or one team's going to have an advantage, and hopefully Portland's not the one with the disadvantage. But I think that the focus on defense is really going to help with this as well. Absolutely. All right, and then my last key to victory: take care of the ball. They'll score enough without help.
Yes, they will.
We do not need to help them, give them any easy buckets. We know that transition has been an area that the Trailblazers have consistently struggled in. So one of the things where we don't want to give them any other kind of opportunities to take advantage of that. All right, well, here we are at our hour. Can you believe that? LaMonster says, Dirk Shirk. I like it. I like where your head's at, LaMonster.
Dirk DMC.
Yeah, I really like where your head's at. Oh, goodness. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and let you go for the week. Reminder, Trailblazers tonight, 7:30 on TNT, as well as 6:20 a.m. for Wheels and Tone with the call there. And then, not only is there a game tonight, we're going to see you after 2 more games, which are happening this weekend. Trailblazers taking on the Clippers on Saturday at 12:30 for that tip-off, and then back here in the Moda Center on Sunday night taking on the Nuggets. We, of course, will see you guys Tuesday before the next game after that, the start of another set of back-to-back. It's going to be crazy. So hopefully we're talking about the Trailblazers sitting at, what are we at, 2-2, so 5-2?
That's
Yeah,
right.
5-2.
5-2.
Hopefully that's what we're talking about. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Thank you for joining us again, and go Trailblazers.
Let's go get it.